What if the only thing between you and your dream life was one decision? Not money, not luck, not connections, just the choice to take action today. The power to shape your future is not something you must wait for, hunt for, or beg for. It is already in you. From the moment you were born, you were given the mind to think, the heart to desire, and the will to act. These are not small gifts. They are the very tools by which every great accomplishment in history has been built. Too often, people believe that greatness is reserved for others, that success belongs to a select group with rare talents, unique opportunities, or extraordinary luck. But the truth is that every individual who has ever reached a high level of achievement began exactly where you are now with nothing more than their own mind, their own choices, and their own determination. The raw material of success lives inside you, waiting for you to recognize it and put it to work. When you truly understand that you hold this power, you stop waiting for permission. You stop making excuses about time, resources, or circumstances. You realize that the most important factor in your success is not what you have now, but what you decide to do with what you have. The tools are already in your possession. The question is whether you will learn how to use them. People underestimate the mind's ability to transform a life. Every great invention, every thriving business, every inspiring work of art began first in someone's imagination. What you see around you now was once invisible, existing only as a thought in the mind of its creator. The same mental faculty that produced those results is present in you. Your mind is capable of envisioning a goal so clearly that it feels inevitable, and when it feels inevitable, you begin to act with purpose and confidence, drawing the result into reality. This inner power is not limited to certain types of people or certain areas of life. It works in business, in relationships, in health, in personal growth. The principle is the same. You have the ability to think, to choose, and to act in ways that align with your desired outcome. If you can imagine the end clearly enough and hold to it with faith and persistence, you can bring it into being. Too many people wait for external changes, more money, a better job, more support from others, before they take action toward their dreams. But those changes often only come after you have acted. The internal shift precedes the external shift. You must first decide that you are capable, that you have what it takes, and that you will use the resources already available to you. Think of the stories of those who started with nothing but created a legacy. The common thread is not luck or special talent. It is the recognition of personal power. They saw that no one was going to hand them their dream. They understood that circumstances may not be ideal, but circumstances can be changed. They took inventory of their skills, their knowledge, and their willingness to learn, and then they put those assets to use with relentless effort. They understood that waiting for the perfect time is simply another form of procrastination, because the perfect time is now. You must realize that your power is not in what is given to you, but in what you create with what you already have. It lies in your ability to decide that you will no longer live passively, letting life happen to you. It lies in your decision to take responsibility for your future, to claim ownership of your dreams, and to act each day in ways that bring those dreams closer. The moment you accept that the power to change your life is already in your hands, you will stop seeing yourself as a victim of circumstance and start seeing yourself as the architect of your destiny. You have a mind that can think beyond your current reality, a heart that can hold a burning desire, and a will strong enough to carry you through difficulty. These are not small things. They are everything you need to begin. When you choose to believe in your own power, you awaken a force that has been dormant, but is always present. A force that can move you from where you are to where you want to be. If you'd like, I can now expand as key point 2 as in the same style, so the whole speech builds with consistent energy and flow. Would you like me to continue? Clarity is the starting point of all achievement. You cannot build something magnificent if you do not first decide exactly what it will be. The mind thrives on direction. When you give it a clear and definite purpose, it begins to align your thoughts, your energy, and your actions toward that end. Too many people drift through life without deciding where they want to go, and as a result, they accept whatever life throws at them. They live reactively, constantly adjusting to circumstances instead of shaping circumstances to fit their vision. The difference between wandering and winning begins with a decision so clear, so unshakable, that it becomes the compass by which you navigate every choice and every opportunity. Once you decide what you want, you must write it down. This simple act transforms an idea from a passing thought into a concrete commitment. Writing it down is a declaration, a contract with yourself that says, "This is what I am building, and I will not be moved from it." Keep those words where you can see them daily. Let them remind you in moments of doubt and temptation that you have chosen a path, and you will not abandon it for distraction or comfort. But writing it down is not enough. You must also breathe life into your goal by visualizing it. Close your eyes and see it completed in vivid detail. The colors, the shapes, the sounds, the emotions. Feel the joy of accomplishment as if it were already yours. The mind does not easily distinguish between reality and deeply imagined experiences. By rehearsing the success in your imagination, you are programming your subconscious to believe it is inevitable. And when you believe it is inevitable, you act differently. You act with confidence, urgency, and faith. Definiteness of purpose means more than just wanting something. It means making that want the central aim of your effort. It means refusing to dilute your energy by chasing too many things at once. It means having the courage to say no to opportunities that don't align with your vision, even if they seem attractive in the moment. The person with a definite purpose moves faster and farther than the one who is always changing direction, because every step is in alignment with their destination. Life will test your commitment to your purpose. You will face distractions, setbacks, and the temptation to settle for less. If your purpose is vague, you will surrender to these pressures. But if it is definite, if it burns in your mind as something you must achieve, then no setback will stop you. You will adapt, adjust, and continue forward. The strength of your purpose is what will keep you moving when the excitement fades and the work becomes hard. The moment you make a firm decision, something remarkable happens. Your mind begins to reorganize itself around that choice, and the world around you starts to respond in ways you may not fully understand at first. Opportunities that were once hidden begin to reveal themselves. People who can help you seem to appear at the right time. Circumstances begin to shift, not by accident, but because your decision has given you a direction and a focus that changes how you move through life. You see, most people wait for conditions to be perfect before deciding on a course of action. But the truth is that conditions rarely become perfect on their own. It is the act of deciding that starts to align those conditions in your favor. A committed decision acts like a magnet. It pulls resources, ideas, and connections toward you. This is not magic. It is the natural result of directing your energy with precision. When you know exactly what you want, and you are certain you will go after it, you stop wasting time on activities and thoughts that have nothing to do with your aim. That clarity changes your conversations, your habits, and your daily choices. You begin to speak differently, to walk differently, to carry yourself as someone who is moving toward a definite outcome. Others can sense that certainty, and it draws the right kind of attention and support. Indecision, on the other hand, scatters your energy. When you remain uncertain, you send mixed signals to yourself and to the world. You hesitate, second guess, and drift. Opportunities pass by because you are too busy debating whether or not to act. But the person who has decided, truly decided, does not hesitate when the right moment comes. They recognize it instantly because they have been preparing for it all along. It is important to understand that making a decision is not the same as hoping. Hoping is passive. It is waiting for something good to happen. Decision is active. It is the choice to make something happen no matter the obstacles. Once you decide, your mind will begin to look for every possible path to bring that decision into reality. You will notice solutions you would have missed before. You will take action you might have been too timid to take when your mind was still unsure. With each step you take after making a clear decision, your confidence grows. You begin to trust yourself more, and that trust strengthens your resolve. Even when difficulties arise, you see them as part of the process rather than as reasons to quit. The energy of decision is powerful enough to carry you through setbacks because you have already determined where you are going. You are no longer asking if it can be done. You are simply finding the way to do it. Choosing a definite purpose also changes the way you see the world. Suddenly, opportunities that were invisible before will appear because you are now tuned to notice them. People, ideas, and resources will seem to show up at just the right moment, not because they were never there, but because you are now actively searching for them. Your mind, like a magnet, begins to draw in the tools you need to build your vision. When you live with a definite purpose, your days are no longer random. Each morning becomes a fresh opportunity to take another step toward what you have chosen. Your time, your energy, and your attention become valuable resources that you guard carefully. You begin to live deliberately, knowing that each choice either moves you closer to your goal or further away. And when you truly commit to that purpose, you will find that life begins to organize itself around your decision, opening doors you never imagined could be opened. Obstacles are not there to end your journey. They are there to shape you into the person capable of completing it. Every goal worth achieving will present challenges, and those challenges are not punishments. They are preparation. When you encounter resistance, it is a sign that you are moving forward. The person who avoids difficulty also avoids growth. For it is only by meeting and overcoming problems that you develop the strength, skill, and wisdom required to sustain success once you have it. Think of every great achievement in history. None of them came without hardship. The people who built those legacies faced closed doors, rejection, financial setbacks, and moments of doubt. What set them apart was not an absence of difficulty, but their refusal to be defeated by it. They understood that obstacles were not permanent walls, but temporary tests, and those who passed the test were the ones who persisted until they found a way forward. When you change the way you see obstacles, you change your ability to deal with them. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" you begin to ask, "What is this here to teach me?" That shift in perspective transforms frustration into curiosity and turns adversity into an opportunity to grow stronger. Every challenge carries within it a lesson that, once learned, equips you for the next stage of your journey. If you skip the lesson, you will find yourself facing the same challenge again later, because the growth it demands is essential to your progress. Obstacles also refine your commitment. When everything is easy, it is simple to say you want something. But when the path becomes steep and the way forward unclear, you must decide whether your goal is truly worth the effort. Those who have only a casual interest will turn back, but those who have a burning desire will push forward no matter how hard it becomes. In this way, obstacles separate the wishful thinkers from the determined achievers. They strip away the faint-hearted and leave only those who are willing to pay the price. Difficulties have another hidden benefit. They reveal strengths you didn't know you had. When you are forced to solve a problem, you discover abilities and resources within yourself that might have remained hidden forever if not for the pressure of the situation. You become more resourceful, more creative, and more resilient. You learn that you can endure more than you thought, and that realization builds unshakable confidence. Once you have proven to yourself that you can survive one storm, you stop fearing the next one. It is also important to recognize that many obstacles are simply signals that you need to adjust your approach, not abandon your goal. A roadblock may mean you need to gather more knowledge, strengthen your skills, or seek guidance from someone who has already walked the path. Often, the problem is not that your dream is impossible, but that your current method needs refining. This is why persistence matters so much. Without it, you will never stay in the game long enough to find the winning strategy. When you learn to see obstacles as part of the natural order of success, they lose much of their power to discourage you. You stop expecting an easy road and instead prepare yourself for the inevitable challenges. This preparation changes everything. Because when the difficulties come, and they will, you are not shocked or defeated, you are ready. You understand that the obstacle is not the end, but part of the process, and you keep moving forward. The truth is that every step you take in the face of resistance is forging the mindset, discipline, and endurance you will need to hold on to success when it arrives. Many people reach their goal only to lose it, because they never develop the inner strength to sustain it. Obstacles are the training ground where that strength is built. Without them, your success would be fragile. With them, it becomes unshakable. If you find yourself facing difficulty today, do not wish it away. Use it. Let it sharpen your mind, strengthen your will, and deepen your commitment. The path may be steep, but every step you climb is taking you closer not only to your goal, but to the person you must become to live at that level. Faith is the invisible bridge between the life you have now and the life you desire. It is the ability to see your goal in your mind long before it appears in your reality, to act as if its arrival is certain even when your current circumstances give you no evidence to support that belief. Faith is not wishful thinking or blind hope. It is a deep inner knowing that what you seek is possible, that you are capable of achieving it, and that the right conditions will emerge as you move forward. Without faith, the first obstacle will stop you. With it, nothing can keep you from pressing on until you reach the other side. When you truly believe in the certainty of your success, your behavior changes. You stop hesitating. You stop doubting yourself. You start taking decisive action as though the outcome were guaranteed. This change in behavior sets into motion a chain of events that begins to align reality with your vision. The people you meet, the opportunities you encounter, the ideas that come to you, all of them are influenced by your willingness to act boldly in the belief that your goal will be achieved. Faith works in harmony with action. Belief without action is merely a daydream, and action without belief is a struggle without conviction. When the two are combined, you move with an energy and a purpose that others can sense, and this attracts support from unexpected places. Your certainty becomes contagious. People want to be around someone who knows where they are going and refuses to be swayed by fear or uncertainty. It is easy to have faith when everything is going according to plan, but the real test comes when the path grows dark. There will be moments when you cannot see the next step, when progress feels slow, and when it seems as though your efforts are not producing results. In these moments, faith is your lifeline. It reminds you that what you see now is not the full picture, that unseen forces are still at work, and that your breakthrough may be just beyond the point where most people give up. Holding faith requires discipline. You must guard your mind against the influence of fear, doubt, and negativity. If you constantly dwell on what could go wrong, you weaken your ability to act decisively. Surround yourself with people, ideas, and environments that reinforce your belief in what you are doing. Read inspiring stories of others who achieved great things despite impossible odds. Speak words of certainty to yourself daily. The mind responds to repetition, and the more you affirm your success, the more your subconscious begins to accept it as inevitable. Faith also allows you to take risks that others will not. The person who doubts will hesitate, waiting for perfect conditions that never come. The person who believes will step forward into uncertainty, trusting that the path will reveal itself. It is in these leaps of faith that many of the greatest rewards are found. Opportunities often appear only after you have committed yourself beyond the point of turning back. Another power of faith is its ability to keep you calm in the face of setbacks. Instead of panicking when things go wrong, you view problems as temporary and solvable. This calmness allows you to think clearly, make better decisions, and maintain your momentum. Fear clouds judgment, but faith sharpens it. There will be those who cannot see your vision and will try to talk you out of it. They will point to the risks, the failures of others, and the reasons why it cannot be done. If you let their voices override your own belief, you will stop before you even start. But if your faith is strong, their doubts will not shake you. You will keep moving, not because you have all the answers, but because you know the answers will come as you need them. The greatest victories are won not by those with the most resources or the perfect plan, but by those who refuse to let go of their belief in the face of difficulty. Faith fuels persistence, and persistence turns the invisible into the visible. It carries you over the bridge from where you are to where you want to be, step by step, until what was once only an image in your mind becomes the reality you live in every day. The people you allow into your life have a direct influence on the direction you take and the results you achieve. Human beings absorb the attitudes, beliefs, and habits of those they spend the most time with, often without realizing it. If you surround yourself with individuals who constantly complain, make excuses, and settle for less, their mindset will gradually pull you toward the same low standard. But if you choose to be in the company of people who think big, act with purpose, and push themselves to grow, their energy will elevate your own. Success is rarely achieved in isolation. It is almost always the result of a supportive environment that reinforces your vision and challenges you to be your best. When you are pursuing a goal, especially one that requires time and persistence, there will be moments when your motivation fades or your confidence wavers. In those moments, the right people can be the difference between quitting and continuing. They will remind you of your potential when you forget it. They will hold you accountable to the standards you set for yourself. They will refuse to let you give up simply because the road is difficult. This kind of support is not accidental. It must be intentionally sought out and nurtured. It is equally important to limit or remove the influence of those who drain your energy or undermine your belief. This does not mean cutting ties with everyone who doubts you, but it does mean protecting your mental space. If certain people consistently inject negativity, criticism, or fear into your plans, you must be disciplined enough to distance yourself from their influence, even if it is uncomfortable. Your environment shapes your thinking, and your thinking shapes your actions. One powerful way to strengthen your circle is to seek out mentors or peers who have already achieved what you are working toward. Their experience will not only guide you, but also make your goal feel more attainable. When you see someone who started where you are now and has reached a higher level, it reinforces the truth that you can do it too. A strong environment is made up of people who have the results you want, share your values, and inspire you to keep climbing. Surrounding yourself with the right people also means contributing value in return. Relationships built solely on taking will not last. You must also encourage challenge and support those in your circle. When you lift others up, you strengthen the bond that will, in turn, lift you when you need it. The energy of your environment will either push you forward or hold you back. You have the power to choose which it will be. By surrounding yourself with people who expect more from you, who believe in your vision, and who demonstrate through their own actions that success is possible, you create a constant source of motivation and belief. Over time, their influence becomes a part of you, shaping your mindset, your habits, and ultimately your results. Persistence is the quality turns intention into reality, the force that keeps you moving forward when the excitement of starting has faded and the obstacles in your path seem unending. Many people set out on the road toward their goals with enthusiasm, but only a fraction of them arrive at the destination. The difference is rarely talent or opportunity. It is almost always persistence. When you decide that you will not quit no matter what, you place yourself among a small and determined group of people who inevitably find a way to succeed. Persistence is not just about stubbornly pushing forward without thought. It is about holding on to your goal while adjusting your methods as needed. The road may twist and turn, plans may fail, circumstances may change, but the person with persistence adapts without losing sight of the destination. They may slow down, take detours, or try new approaches, but they never turn back. This is the kind of determination that overcomes not only external challenges, but also the internal battles of doubt, fear, and fatigue. Every worthwhile goal will test your persistence. There will be moments when progress feels painfully slow, when the effort seems far greater than the reward, and when quitting looks like the easiest choice. These moments are the turning points. They are where most people stop and where the persistent person keeps going. If you can push through those moments, if you can keep moving when every part of you wants to stop, you will discover that the breakthrough you seek is often just beyond that point of resistance. Persistence builds character in a way nothing else can. It demands that you dig deeper than you thought possible, that you call on resources within yourself you did not know were there. Each time you face a challenge and keep going, you prove to yourself that you are stronger than you imagined. This self-trust becomes one of your greatest assets, because once you know you can endure difficulty and keep moving, you stop fearing it. It is important to understand that persistence is not always loud or dramatic. Often it is quiet and steady. It is the small daily actions repeated over and over, even when they feel insignificant in the moment. A single step may not seem like much, but over time, those steps accumulate into massive progress. The persistent person understands that consistency compounds, and they are willing to do what others won't. Show up every day, put in the work, and keep going regardless of mood or motivation. One of the reasons persistence is so powerful is that it wears down resistance. Many obstacles are temporary. They simply stand in your way long enough to see if you will give up. When you refuse to quit, you outlast the challenge. The situation changes, opportunities shift, and suddenly what seemed impossible becomes possible because you stayed in the game. This is why so many successes are called overnight victories when in truth they were the result of years of unseen persistence. Another aspect of persistence is the ability to keep your vision alive in your mind, even during long stretches where you see little to no visible progress. The danger in these periods is losing sight of why you started, which can make you vulnerable to distraction or discouragement. The persistent person continually reminds themselves of their goal, reconnects with their original purpose, and reignites their determination as often as needed. Persistence also protects you from the opinions of others. There will be people who tell you it cannot be done, that you are wasting your time, that you should be more realistic. Without persistence, these voices can easily pull you off course. With it, you hear their words but keep moving forward, fueled not by their doubts but by your own unshakable commitment to your vision. The truth is, persistence is not a natural state for most people. It must be cultivated. You build it by setting small goals and seeing them through, by refusing to break promises to yourself, and by treating each obstacle as training for something greater. Over time, persistence becomes a habit. It becomes part of who you are. When that happens, the thought of giving up no longer feels like an option. It feels like a betrayal of yourself. Every story of lasting success contains chapters filled with difficulty, setbacks, and uncertainty. The thread that connects them all is the refusal to stop. Those who persist discover that success often comes not to the most talented or the most prepared, but to those who simply stayed in the race long enough to cross the finish line. The world will eventually make room for the person who has made up their mind that they will not be denied. Persistence is the quiet force behind every major accomplishment, the steady heartbeat that carries you through storms and across deserts. It does not guarantee an easy journey, but it guarantees that you will still be standing when others have fallen away. And when you are still standing, still moving, and still believing, you are always closer to victory than you may realize. The creative power within you is the same force that has shaped every great achievement the world has ever seen. It is the source from which inventions are born, businesses are built, art is created, and ideas are transformed into reality. This power is not something reserved for a chosen few. It is available to every person willing to tap into it. It lives in your thoughts, your imagination, and your ability to take those ideas and turn them into action. Every time you think, you are engaging with this force, and every choice you make directs it toward building something in your life. What you choose to focus on determines how this creative energy is used. If you focus on problems, your mind becomes an expert at finding more of them. If you focus on possibilities, you begin to see solutions and opportunities that others overlook. The creative force works with whatever material you give it, shaping your reality in alignment with the dominant thoughts you hold. This is why it is essential to guard your mind, to feed it with ideas, images, and possibilities that reflect the life you want to live rather than the one you want to escape. This inner power is activated by desire. When you truly want something, your mind begins to work toward it automatically, drawing on resources you may not have consciously recognized before. New ideas will surface, connections will form, and you will find yourself noticing details and opportunities that align with your goal. The more vividly you can picture what you want, the more your subconscious mind works to bring it into your experience. This process is not instant, but it is constant, and it continues as long as you maintain your focus and belief. Action is the bridge between this creative power and tangible results. Imagination alone is not enough. You must take steps, however small, that move you toward your vision. Each action provides new feedback, sparks new ideas, and builds momentum. Even imperfect action is valuable because it gives the creative force something to work with, something to refine and expand upon. The more you act, the more you discover about your capabilities, and the stronger your creative flow becomes. It is also important to trust this power. You may not always see how your efforts will connect, but if you stay committed, the pieces will come together in ways you could not have predicted. Many breakthroughs happen only after long periods of steady, unseen work. The creative force often works quietly, aligning circumstances, introducing people, and preparing the way for your vision to take form. By trusting it, you give yourself permission to keep going, even when results are not immediately visible. When you understand that the same power that fueled the greatest achievements in history is already inside you, you stop underestimating yourself. You begin to see that every thought, decision, and action you take is shaping your future. The question is never whether you have the power. It is whether you will direct it toward creating the life you truly want. The question is not whether you can achieve what you desire. It is whether you will choose to act. Most people are capable of far more than they ever attempt. Yet they spend years waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, or the perfect confidence before they start. They tell themselves that once conditions improve, once they have more time, money, or experience, then they will move forward. But waiting is a trap because there will always be something that feels incomplete or uncertain. The truth is that success begins the moment you decide that you will no longer wait, that you will begin with what you have, where you are, and trust yourself to figure out the rest along the way. You already have the ability, the resources, and the potential to take your first step. The question is whether you will commit to taking it, even in the face of fear, doubt, or discomfort. Action has a way of creating clarity. The moment you start, you begin to see possibilities that were invisible before. You learn through doing, gaining skills and confidence as you go. The people who accomplish great things are not always the ones who knew the most when they started. They are the ones who were willing to begin and to keep moving despite uncertainty. The decision to act is a commitment to yourself that you will no longer live passively, letting life dictate your direction. It is a statement that you are responsible for your future and that you will do what it takes to shape it. This choice is powerful because it shifts you from being a spectator to being a participant in your own destiny. It is the difference between hoping for change and creating it. Choosing to act also means accepting that mistakes and setbacks are part of the process. Many people let the fear of failure stop them from even starting, but the truth is that failure is one of the most valuable teachers you will ever have. Every misstep provides information that brings you closer to your goal. If you are willing to learn from each attempt, you cannot truly fail. You can only refine your approach until you succeed. It is easy to get lost in preparation, convincing yourself that you are making progress when you are really just avoiding the discomfort of action. Planning is important, but it must eventually give way to execution. No amount of thinking will replace the experience gained from doing. The perfect plan will never appear, but momentum can be built from imperfect beginnings. Once you are moving, you can adjust, improve, and adapt far more effectively than if you remain still. Ultimately, your ability to achieve what you want depends less on your current circumstances and more on your willingness to take consistent, deliberate steps toward it. Every goal, no matter how large, is accomplished through a series of small actions taken over time. The sooner you start, the sooner those actions can begin to compound into results. Waiting only delays the life you are capable of living. You do not need to prove to anyone else that you can do it. You need only prove it to yourself through your actions. Each step you take is evidence of your commitment, and as your evidence grows, so will your belief in your ability. The potential has always been there. The only remaining choice is whether you will use it. Your dreams are not waiting for better conditions. They're waiting for you to move. The moment you decide to act, you shift from wishing to creating, from hoping to achieving. Start now with what you have, and let each step build your confidence and momentum. The power to change your life has always been in your hands. Use it.